Hello and welcome to the top 5 rechargeable flashlights from Nitecore store. This list is comprised of recent flashlights released by Nitecore that share an important common feature. They are all USB-C rechargeable. This is the most frequently asked question whenever we announce something new, and it is a very important factor for the average consumer who wants to save by not replacing batteries. Where do we begin? In a revolutionary display of not understanding the concept of 5 or how to conduct a top 5 countdown properly, I am going to show all of my choices for the best top 5 rechargeable flashlight all at the same time, and instead of 5, there are 6. Coming in at number 5 and 4 is the MH10v2 and the MH12v2. Coming in at number 3 and 2 is the P10i and the P20i. And coming in at number 1, and I've come too far back to go back and start counting from 6, is the MH10S and the MH12S. Now hear me out. I thought this would be a great opportunity to help illustrate the often confusing and rather bland nomenclature behind some of our most popular rechargeable series. And believe you me, I would be positively thrilled if I got any input on naming our flashlights. Our new lights would have the best names if I got to decide. Here are some examples. The Sunspear. Das alles klingt auf Deutsch intensiv.
The Illudium Q36 Explosive Space Modulator.
Perhaps I am not the best at coming up with names for flashlights, which brings me to my first group. At number 5 and 4 for the best rechargeable flashlights from Nitecore are the MH10v2 and the MH12v2. They make it on this list because they are the standard all-around good rechargeable flashlight from Nitecore store that I recommend to people who don't need something highly specialized. Now the key difference between the 10v2 and the 12v2 is that the 10v2 only has a single side switch, whereas the 12v2 has a side switch as well as a tail switch. They have the same LEDs, max brightness modes, max beam distance, and run times. So if you are like me and you have to get that clickety-clack tail switch and don't mind the extra length of the MH12v2, then this one is the one for you. Some people like the side switch only and the ability to tail stand their flashlights. If so, the MH10v2 is the one I would recommend. Next, coming in at number 4 and 3 are the P10i and the P20i. The P series normally were not rechargeable, but then the P10i and P20i came along and said, "Not today, imaginary unofficial rules." They both have a max brightness of 1800 lumen. They have Nitecore's patented strobe-ready technology, where you can hold the mode pedal whether the flashlight is on or off and get instant strobe. Now here is the key difference between the P10i and P20i. Just like the MH10v2 and 12v2, the P10i, because the tens digit is a 1, we have a straight tube flashlight. The tens digit usually refers to the shape of the flashlight head. The unique benefit of the P10i is that you have a slim 1-inch tube diameter tactical flashlight, which is not uncomfortable to carry around in a pocket, but because of the smaller reflector, you only get 317 yards of beam throw on the P10i. Now on the other hand, the P20i has a 2 in the tens digit, which usually means it has more of a traditional bell-shaped head. So with the larger reflector of the P20i, you get 375 yards of beam throw, which would be an extra 2, and then you carry the 1. Why did I assume I could do this in my head on the spot? I should have just written it down. The bezel of the P20i is steel and has 3 silicone nitrided inlays for those moments when you have already asked nicely the first time. And that brings me to the MH10S and the MH12S. The MH10S and MH12S are basically the MH10v2 and MH12v2, but it's got the extra cheese, bacon, and jalapenos. The MH10S and MH12S have the same LED, same max brightness, which is 1800 lumen, same beam throw, which is 321 yards, and very similar weight and dimensions, and of course they are on this list because they are also USB-C rechargeable. And just like the 10v2, 12v2, and P10i, because they have a 1 in the tens digit, we are looking at straight tube flashlights. The MH10S has of course just the one single side switch, whereas the MH12S has the tail switch as well as the side switch. Now that we have all of that cleared up, similarities, differences for all 6 of these flashlights. All of these are USB-C rechargeable. These 4 have a max brightness of 1800 lumen. These 2 have a max brightness of 1200 lumen. Here is a composition of all of their beam profiles. These 5 are straight tube design and come with the NTH10 polymer holster. This one is a bell shape and comes with an NTH20 polymer holster. These 2 are side switch only. These 4 have a tail switch. These 2 have an instant strobe pedal. These 2 have 5 brightness modes. These 2 have 4 brightness modes, and these 2 have 3 brightness modes. And finally, if you were to ask me to describe each pair using only one word, practical, tactical, and fantastical. That concludes Nitecore Store's top 5 rechargeable flashlights as of January 2021. If you would like to stay up to date on all future product releases available at the Nitecore Store, sales announcements, as well as specials, or if you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the Nitecore Store YouTube channel. And thank you.